Welcome to the Positioned Podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Knight. And if you're just joining us, I have been recording a series called Don't Panic, Prepare. Today is going to be part 2, which is document preparedness. There will be our regularly scheduled programming, but periodically I'm also going to be releasing these preparedness series because it is really important for us to have our stuff together and be ready for whatever comes. That said, I have to start with a hard truth that most of you are not prepared for what is coming. And it's not because you're lazy or irresponsible. It is because we have been lulled into a normal that is not going to continue indefinitely. And if, like the sons of Issachar, you know the times and the seasons, you can discern what that means for today. Remember our theme in Proverbs 31, that the Proverbs 31 woman was not afraid of snow for her household because she was prepared. And the snow is coming, dear ones, and I'm not talking about winter. The snow is coming, and will we be ready? So my goal today is to help you to get your documents in order so that you won't be caught off guard. So let me just break this down. I've divided this into 3 critical areas. In general, you need to know in a crisis, you're going to have to be able to prove 3 things. Who you are is the first one. It is critical to be able to prove your identity, your citizenship, and not only to be able to prove it, but to have it immediately available to you, because when systems go down, you become invisible. And without proper documentation, even your family relationships, they're going to need ironclad proof. You need your marriage certificates, birth certificates, custody papers. Come on. These aren't just bureaucratic formalities. No, these are going to be your lifeline to your loved ones. You may well have to prove these are your children. We don't know what the future holds, but we can prepare as much as we can. If anyone in your family has special medical needs or needs accommodations, make sure you have the comprehensive records you need, because when hospitals are overwhelmed and your regular doctors are not available, these are going to become your voice. If you have legal protections like wills, trusts, powers of attorney, you want those current and accessible. This may be the time to update some paperwork, people. Crisis reveals who has authority in your life. And there are special things that would go into place if we went into some kind of crisis, and we want to be able to have our documentation in order. So that's the first area, who you are. In other words, your identity. And then the second critical area we want to prepare for is where we belong. That goes into things like property ownership and your housing situation. So even if you're leasing, right? If you're renting, you want to make sure that you have a lease, that you have your apartment insurance in place. And if you own your home or property, you want to make sure deeds and mortgages and insurance policies are where you need to get to them in case of chaos. Also, you want your emergency contacts current, and you want to make sure that your educational credentials, your professional standings, anything that would require verification for you to return to work is in place, even if you think that your employer may already have these things. If normal systems fail, we need to have our own backups. Things like your vehicle ownership and insurance will become important, and it secures your mobility. Just by FYI, a little bit off topic, but not too far, you want to keep your tank full too. Because if you need to leave where you are to go to a different place or to seek shelter elsewhere, you'll need to be able to get there. All right. The third critical area that you need to prepare your documents for is what you own. So who you are, where you belong, and what you own. So any of your financial assets or accounts will need paper documentation, because banks can freeze, systems can crash, digital records can disappear and be hacked, and you want to be prepared for that. You should be printing out all of your monthly statements, even in your investment and retirement accounts. Even if you're nowhere near retirement age, it doesn't matter. Any insurance policies you have should have a physical backup. Don't assume that the cloud is permanent, my friends. Also, you want to take a household inventory with photo and video. And this is going to protect your ability if you ever have to rebuild, because insurance companies won't take your word for what you lost. Your digital life also needs to be secured. Handwritten backup plans about what you would do and how to proceed if the grid goes down. You also want your passwords written down somewhere on paper, because these will become golden if you need them later on, especially if you have saved them in a password um, capturing software on your computer and you don't know them. You need to get those and have those readily available on paper somewhere secure. And I'll be honest with you, here is what I'm seeing, my friends. There's a shaking coming, if it's not already upon us. And the systems that we relied on may or may not be as permanent as we think. They may go through different kinds of changes, and we just want to be prepared, right? In Amos 3:7, the Lord says that he does nothing unless he first reveals it to his friends, the prophets. So consider this your revelation. Get prepared. And of course, it's not just practical, it's also spiritual, and I will look at that in another episode. But right now, I want to talk to you about stewarding not just your own future and your own documentation, but making sure that the futures of those who you are responsible for and to are also secured. We want to make sure that you have all the practical things in place to cover your children, your elderly parents, any disabled family members, and anyone and anything that is counting on you for wisdom and protection. So, that said, I want to say to you that this is a time to prepare, not panic. We don't live in fear, we walk in wisdom. And the prepared woman or the prepared man will not have to panic, because when the storm hits, they've already done the work. Now, to that end, I've created this complete don't panic, prepare document checklist. Yes, that's the name of it. I know it's corny, but listen, you'll thank me for it if you ever have to use it. It's going to break down exactly what you need, where to store your information, and how to organize it for every person that you're responsible for. And you'll find the link to it in the show notes. It is absolutely free. I want to sow this into you and into your family. This is my gift to you. So please, click on that link in the show notes, download several copies. Make sure that you have a copy for everyone that you are responsible for, including your fur babies. You want to make sure that your fur babies, their shots are up to date and all those things, and that you have the documentation that proves that. Don't wait until the snow has fallen to prepare. The sons of Issachar knew the seasons, they prepared, and this is ours. So until next time, don't panic, prepare, stay wonderfully blessed. Bye now.